interview amazing people doing amazing things. And of course, today will not disappoint you. We have the great Apostle, Dr. Bishop Paul S. Morton. Bishop Morton, how are you doing?
I am doing great. You know, when you're with Dr. Jacqueline King, you know you're doing great. I mean, I've arrived.
You're so funny. I am so, we love you. I mean, my whole ministry loves you. Been following you for years. I tell you that. I love your tweets. We're going to get into that. I'm going to touch on that in a minute, but I'm going to get right into the interview. So what age were you called to the ministry? I heard your father was a bishop. Is that correct?
Yeah, my father was a bishop in the Church of God in Christ. Yes.
I heard.
In fact, he was the seventh bishop that Bishop C.H. Mason consecrated. So I heard that, of course, for so many years in my life. So it's been a great connection, of course, with the Church of God in Christ. But I've been preaching since I was 16 years old. So that's been a long, long time now.
Did you start in the Church of God in Christ, or did you start?
Yeah, started in the Church of God in Christ. Born in the Church of God in Christ. Of course, my father being one of the bishops, and then as my eldest brother took over, he was in the Church of God in Christ, and then of course I moved over to Baptist in the later years, in the 70s. So for 20 years, I was in coaching.
And so, believe it or not, my grandfather was a district superintendent for the state of Durham, North Carolina, in the Church of God in Christ. So I grew up in the Church of God in Christ. That's why I had to ask you, because I know that's a big transition from Kojic to Baptist. Tell me about that, how that went for you.
Oh, yes. You know, for a long time, they was binding the devil out of me. You know,
I know that's right. I know that's right.
But I knew that I just believed that God had that calling on my life to really bridge the gap between Baptists and Pentecostals. All of us were saying that we were going to the same heaven, but couldn't get along down here on earth. How were we going to show others that this is what God wanted us to do? So it was the calling on my life to say, all right, I'm experiencing both now. I see the Church of God in Christ. I see the Baptist church, and I know deep down within the foundation is right. Everybody believes Church of God in Christ, Baptist people in the